In this video, I'm going to answer the pressing question, how can college students manage their money effectively? So you know exactly what to do and you can graduate way ahead of the game. After traveling the country and speaking to over 200 universities and 200,000 college students, I can tell you managing your money is not something you're being taught. Somewhere in the education system, they have discounted this specific piece of information. They haven't valued necessarily teaching money management principles, as they haven't seen it as part of a curricular idea. Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 things you can do as a college student to start managing your money well. The first thing is you need to have a budget. All college students have at least some expenses, and having a budget, whether your mom and dad or somebody else is paying a lot of the tuition bills and a lot of your college experience, still having a budget sets you up in a disciplined way for the day when they aren't paying your bills. Because the truth of the matter is, life is headed for you, not away from you. It's coming at you, meaning the day when you have your own bills, you have a job, you have to manage money, multiply money in order to have financial freedom is coming. And the truth is, it's already here. Now is the time to build those skills and start having a budget. And a lot of people think that budgets are for poor people. I used to hear this all the time. People that don't have money are the ones that need budgets. People that have tons of money and can buy anything they want, they don't really need a budget. Let me tell you, the richest people in the world run their money through a financial system, whether you call it a budget or not. They still know where their money's going and they still make sure it's being used wisely. I can tell you today, I have way more money and financial freedom than I had when I was 20, and my budget is far stricter today than when I was 20. That's why I have more money today, by the way. Having a budget is not something you do when you don't have money. It's something you do always, whether you have it or not, just so you can be in control of your money, making sure your money is truly going towards what you value. So as a college student, make sure you have a budget and understand the landscape of the amount of money you're spending every single month. The thing a budget does for you is it gives you some guidelines. If you were on a road and there was no lines and there was no line to cross, cars would be going all over and nobody'd really know where to drive. A budget's just guidelines that keeps you between the lines. It reminds you at the checkout line that maybe that item wasn't budgeted and maybe we should put it back and just pass on that and continue because we probably don't need it anyway. And think about this. Every time we check out at a register, there's tons of things right there at the register, right, to get us to pick up and emotionally buy. What a budget does is help us not fall into emotional buying and instead make buying decisions based on logic and strategy. That's what I love about a budget, and that's why I think every college student ought to have one. The second thing is create a $1,000 ER fund. It's not a lot of money, but it will keep you safe from a car breaking down and not being able to get to work, your phone breaking and needing a new screen, or something happen that actually will keep you from having a job, going to school, and actually being successful as a college student. So having an ER fund, it's just simply a little bit of a safety net. It's a backstop. It can catch things that get past you that you can't really take that month. You're not making enough money to cover all the expenses that month. As long as it's not stupid spending, then that ER fund is a great backstop to make sure that you're not going into debt from a month that was a little bit of a surprise. The third thing you can do is open a savings account and a checking account. Every wealthy person has both. I want you to start living like a wealthy person now. The difference between a checking account and a savings account is a checking account is a revolving door. A saving account is a deposit safety box. That's what it really is. The idea is that one is locked and you just save until you're going to release it and take money out to buy something specific. A checking account is a revolving door. Money comes in and money goes out. Money comes in and money goes out because you put money into your checking and you're going to put it back out to pay bills, phone bills and cars and car insurance or whatever, gas to get to work. And again, you put money every single month into your savings account as well. So having two accounts reminds you there's two elements to making money. There's spending and there's saving. And of course there's a third element of investing, but we'll get there in a little bit. The idea is that we have a checking and a savings account because there's two uses to our money as a college student. I have a lot of college students ask me this. Yeah, Mike, but what if mom and dad pay for everything? I actually own a lot of real estate around Notre Dame. And around Notre Dame, most Notre Dame students, their parents pay for everything. There are some students that are really slugging their way through college and paying for their own tuition and having a job and paying for all their expenses. But a lot of times students that go to Notre Dame have people paying their way. So a lot of people say, well, if I have mom and dad paying my way, why do I need to think about finances now? Here's what I say. Even as a college student, if your parents are paying for everything, I would still have a side hustle or a job. And here's why. I want you to start working on creating money that you can use. I want you to start working on innovatively thinking how to make money so I have it to invest and give. It's the idea that yes, you're a college student, but really you can be a college student and still work and do both well. I did. People do it all the time. And I would say everybody should have some sort of side hustle or job that generates revenue. Even if you don't need it, give it all away, help people. But the truth of the matter is, get used to earning money, managing money, saving money, and investing money while you're in college. And a great way to do that is have an economic engine that is driving money towards your bank account every month. Now, before I get to the next tip, make sure you subscribe to our channel and join our family of people that are investing in real estate, building businesses, and creating financial freedom. We want you to join us because this ride is a fun one, and hit that bell notification so that you get notified every time we hit a video, which is every single weekday. Let's get back to the content. The fourth thing you can do to start managing money well as a college student is to start building your credit score. This was hard for me starting off as an 18, 19, 20-year-old because my wife and I didn't have any credit. We didn't have a credit score because we didn't have any bills that we could demonstrate we'd paid over time to really grow that credit score. One of the things you can do to build your credit score is have your parents put you on their credit card before you leave for college. Did you know you can go on their credit card as a teenager as an authorized user and you can leverage their credit score? It's a very powerful way to build credit before you're even out of the house. But credit cards in debt are one of the primary ways to build credit scores, as well as bills. But be very, very careful. Having credit cards, especially if you have a tendency to spend really freely, then credit cards can get you into a lot of trouble. You can get into a lot of trouble building credit score. I am not telling you to take tons of debt in order to build a credit score, because there's ways to build a credit score without loads of debt. So the idea is that you want to build your credit score, and yes, take on credit cards, take on some debt if you can make sure you don't overuse that and take advantage of that. The next thing you can do is to start paying off student loans. Start getting your student loans paid off and show that you can make payments to your loans every single month, because again, credit companies are going to see that rhythm and see that you're making payments on something, and they're going to leverage that and start to build your credit score. They're going to see that, wow, this person is responsible enough to make a payment to something every single month, and it's going to raise the level of your score and give you a higher score even as a college student. Another thing you can do to build that credit score is to rent an apartment and start having that rent reported. And if your landlord isn't doing that, you can sign up with a company that will use your rent payments and report it as credit score. Some property managers will do that. Some landlords may already be doing that. But if they're not, jump through the hoops you need to jump through to make sure your rent's being reported so it can build credit score. So you could get 2 or 3 roommates that you trust, rent an apartment, and you could start building your credit score while in college. That's a powerful thing to do to graduate college with a strong credit score. Not only will that look good if you want to buy a house or rent an apartment afterwards, but it really looks good to employers as you've built credit score throughout college. It's another thing that demonstrates leadership, and it also demonstrates the ability to manage something, which most companies that are hiring you, there's some sort of managerial element. Even if it's not people, it could be tasks. And it's showing them you have the leadership ability to do that. And this goes without saying, anything you owe, for the love of God, pay it on time. The truth of the matter is, paying things on time is what builds credit scores. So if you do have debt and you do have rent, pay it on time. Because if you don't, it's going to do the exact opposite of what we're trying to do here, which is build your credit score. It's going to hurt your credit score and take it lower. So make sure that if you do have bills, you make sure you have a system that reminds you to pay them, especially if you're kind of a forgetful person and you're not really organized in your head. Have a system that reminds you to pay your bills on time. And the last tip is limit eating out. The reason I say this is often in college, one of the ways people spend a lot of money is by eating out, having a few drinks here and there, and it all of a sudden starts to pile up and you start throwing it on credit cards here and there, and you start accumulating debt just by eating out. You can literally save hundreds of dollars a month if you limit this experience. I'm not saying don't go out with friends and don't go out and have fun, but when you go out, make sure you do it in a disciplined way. Go out and have one drink. Go out and eat a meal that's very, very moderate, but again, keep your expenses under grasp. Most people get into debt because they have no clue how much they spend. And that is very true of college students because the truth of the matter, that muscle hasn't been built in your brain yet. You haven't really had a lot of bills to pay. Maybe you've had some bills to pay growing up. Maybe your parents had you pay your cell phone or your car. But if you're just kind of getting into bill paying mode, make sure you have a system that reminds you to pay that, and also make sure you have a disciplined system that helps you make decisions and don't drive yourself into debt further. I also have a free book I wrote I want to give you called The 7 Secrets of Managing Money and Creating Wealth. I so wish somebody would have given this to me while I was in college. And I went to college later in life when I was 24 and I had been married 4 years. I really wish I had this content then, and I'd like you to have it today. Go down in the description, click that link, it'll take you to a page. You can snag your free copy of The 7 Secrets of Managing Money and Creating Wealth. You can get that today. I'll see you in the next video.